she actually launched the book. I was at the event at the World Women's Forum where she launched the book, and it was like a big success. And when she said she's going to be in India to do this, I thought I have to join her. We could make this a traveling roadshow. Okay. You want to do it anywhere else? The second thing is, I think I'm truly, I think, envious of the fact that many of you here are entrepreneurs. I think it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of passion, it takes a lot of energy. And I think it's truly a privilege to be in the company of people who are entrepreneurs. So that's my second reason, and I'm happy to share what I can with you all. I first want to just make a disclaimer. I am not an entrepreneur in the strict sense of the word. I work in a very large company, and sometimes my husband reminds me that it's easy to work in a large company and you forget what it takes to be a startup and then bring things up. And I always have a fight with him about this and remind him that he's wrong. And the example that he gives me is that, if you have to be in Europe 2 weeks in a row, you come back on a Friday and you go again on a Tuesday. If you were an entrepreneur, you wouldn't do that. And I think it is so true. And that's something that I keep telling people in my organization. That when you're working in a company, you run a company, think of that as it's your own sweat and blood, it's your own money. It's not that I'm spending somebody else's money, I'm not. So that sense of extreme ownership, you may be working for anybody, but that sense of ownership, I think, is absolutely essential. I mean, I gave you a very trivial example of an airfare, but I think it's true. How are we using the company's resources? How are we valuing it? And I constantly think, if this were my own, would I do the same? And then that gives you a reality check on what is the right answer. That's one. The second thing that I want to stress on is, what do I look for people? When I said I'm not an entrepreneur in a strict sense of the word, but I do think that we pride ourselves in Capgemini that we have an entrepreneurial DNA. And when I recruit people, when I talk to people and they ask me, how are you different? I said, we are entrepreneurial. And I think that's essentially what we are in terms of the freedom that you give to people and allow them to explore their ideas. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much that anybody who's running a company can do. Eventually, a services company is a collection of people. We're serving a market. I have 38,000 people to represent who are all looking at the market. They're all the eyes and ears of what the market is saying. And for me, it's extremely important to listen to what they're saying in there. So, I think that's why I say that to me, even within an organization, entrepreneurship is so important, and to listen to those ideas and to hear those ideas and to create a culture where those can be shared and just reward them. I don't care where it comes from, and sometimes the best ideas don't come from the top. The best ideas come from a fresh college graduate who has joined us, and that's the most beautiful because they are in touch. With the current generation, they know what is going on. Okay? And I think that really helps me. I'll tell you a funny thing. I had a contest internally called as, we call it Innovation Exchange, and we started one, and people could put their ideas in the portal. And I said, okay, this day we stop it, we announce award, and then we judge it. And I announced the names of the jury, and guess what? I got at least 15 emails that said, your jury is all wrong. You picked senior people to be in the jury, completely wrong. They have no clue of the current ideas and generation. Okay? Take another jury. And that to me is the power of, you can call it entrepreneurship, you can call it whatever, but I think it's the power of being able to listen to the customer, to understand their ideas, and really take an idea for what it's worth, and not where it's coming from, and then implement it. The third thing that I think is extremely important for me is obsession. And I hope each one of you is obsessed. Anybody not obsessed with your idea? Everybody obsessed with what you're doing? Yeah. I personally think that when I select people or I look at an idea, I look at You can have ideas which are good, which are bad. And I not want to say that every single thing will work, whether you're an independent entrepreneur or you're within a company. There are some that work, some that fail. But I think what makes the difference is, are you willing to put everything behind you? Do you have the conviction to stand behind your idea? And that's my first criteria in judging. When somebody comes up with a business idea and a plan and say, I want to do this, I grill him to the point to see, of course the idea basically has to be sound, but behind it, does he have the ability to stand and back it to the hilt? Is he willing to, is he obsessed basically to make it work? And if the answer is yes, I would say, okay, here's your investment and you can go try it out. Okay? And I've seen that in many cases, you can have the best idea in the world, but if you're not obsessed to make it successful, it doesn't work. You have to be able to move heaven and earth to make that happen. I'll stop here because I think we have very, very experienced one. Falguni, I mean, she's actually somebody who's like me, worked in a corporation and then moved to start her own things. I think you'll hear lots of great stories from them. So I'll stop there and then we can catch up again during the course of the...
Aruna, I know you said to me before the session that, I'm always shy of speaking my story. So I'm going to ask you a few questions because I'm sure our audience would like to hear. Are you by background software engineer or an accountant?
Management.
You are a management graduate, and how long have you been in Capgemini?
12 years.
12 years. So my question to you would be that what do you think really made the difference for you to become the CEO of such a large company? Is it what you said, your sheer passion with work? Because I'm sure that you mentioned that obsession, so I'm sure that's there with you. What do you think that it's very tough for a woman to actually break that glass ceiling and get there?
I could be politically absolutely incorrect here. Absolutely. But let me say that anyway. I think sometimes this glass ceiling thing is overrated. I truly believe that in several companies, if you have the talent and you have the capability, there is no glass. And I hope that I'm not the only one who feels that way, there are many others here. And I think especially in the industry that I am in, which is the technology industry, I don't think it exists at all. So I'm fortunate to be in one of those industries where the constraints are almost non-existent. And I think if I look back, the only thing that I focused on is not on the role. It's to be able to do everything with commitment. Okay? And I have to admit it, I didn't think that, am I going for the role of marketing head or a CEO? But I just did what I had to and I did it better.
Yeah. So I think Aruna leaves us with, three important messages, Aruna, that I heard. And one is that if you are obsessed with your idea, then that comes through when you have to sell it to investors, when you have to sell it